Hey church, Pastor Sunny here, and I am so excited to be bringing you a weekly encouragement. I don't know if you're having a great day or a not so great day, but I do know this: as soon as you finish watching this video, I believe you're going to feel a whole lot better because God has a word for you today that you're going to be able to stand on and hold on to for the rest of your days. Let me tell you a little story. Around our house, there is a park. It's called Mulberry Park, and it's a 2-mile paved loop that goes around this beautiful lake. And there's a section of that trail, of the paved path, that goes over a dam. And I don't know what the deal is, but at this particular part of the trail where it goes over the dam, it is crazy windy. I mean, like, you've got to hold on to your hat and your hair is blowing everywhere. It is windy. Listen, I've been going to Mulberry for years and years and years, but yesterday, when I was walking across that dam, for the first time ever, I saw 5 people standing there flying kites. Now listen, you need to know 2 things. Number 1, you need to know that in all of my years, I've never even seen one person flying a kite. And the other thing that you need to know is I've never really been drawn to kites. You know, my dad didn't really fly them very much when I was a kid, so I've just never been into them. I'm not against them. But you need to know that I had this moment where I was drawn to these kites, and that's unusual for me. And the reason that I was drawn to these kites is because I was having a God moment. I knew that God wanted to speak to me, and when I knew that, I stopped dead in my tracks. You know, I was looking at these kites, and some of them were holding steady in the wind. Some of them were darting to the left and darting to the right. Some would even look like they're going to crash down into the ground and come back up again. And I felt like God said to me, what he spoke to my heart is he said, you may feel like that sometimes. Some days you may feel like you're holding steady in the wind. Some days you might feel like you're darting to the left or to the right. Some days you might feel out of control, like you're about to fall and hit the ground, about to crash and burn. But you need to know this: you are tethered to the one that loves you the most, the one that created you and the one that has a plan for you. And you may not know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I do, and I've got you. Church, that word was not just for me. That word is also for you, and that's why I'm so pumped to be able to tell you all about it here on this video today. You know, it reminds me of the scripture where Peter goes and he walks on the water. I want to read it to you. It says, "So Peter went over the side of the boat and walked on the water toward Jesus. But when he saw the strong wind and the waves, he was terrified and began to sink. 'Save me, Lord,' he shouted. Jesus immediately reached out and grabbed him. 'You have so little faith,' Jesus said. 'Why did you doubt me?'" See, Peter, he got out on the water and tried to do some things that are usually impossible for humans to do. And as he was out on the water, he took his focus away from Jesus and he began to see his circumstance. He began to see the waves that were crashing into him. He began to see the wind, how everything was chaotic and crazy. You know, those kites, sometimes they were steady, but sometimes they were going to the left and to the right. Sometimes they almost crashed down into the ground. You know, we're like those kites, and we're just like Peter. It's when we take our eyes off of the one that we're tethered to, that's when we begin to notice our circumstance, and that is when we begin to fear and feel out of control and realize the chaos that may or may not actually be going on around us. But you know what's awesome? Jesus has a word for you today, and that word is this. Take this deep into your heart right now as I'm speaking it to you. Some days you might feel like you're holding steady in the wind. Some days you might feel like you're darting to the left or darting to the right. Some days you might feel like you're going to crash and burn right into the ground. But if you'll just keep your eye on the one, keep your eye on the one that you're tethered to, the one that loves you the most, you're going to be okay. And you're going to realize that I've got you. Church, he's got you. You may not know what's happening tomorrow, but he does, and he has great plans for you. So take that, hold it deep inside of your heart, stand on it, and realize that it's a word from God for you. Be encouraged today, church. Hey, have a great week, and I can't wait to see you on Sunday at our online service. See you, church.